What is up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Make Life Happen. Hope you guys were having a super blessed day because life is so good. Today I want to talk about imagining techniques. Imagining techniques. Neville Goddard teaches us that imagination creates reality. He teaches us the art of imagination to achieve our specific desires. There's much creative power in your imagination within. God in man is man's imagination. God in man is man's imagination. There is nothing under heaven that is not plastic as the potter's clay to the touch of the spirit of imagination. There's not one thing that you can name or point to that wasn't once imagined. Think about it. Point to or name one thing that wasn't once imagined. Throughout Neville's lectures, he says that creating stronger assumptions comes down just to practice. Just practice and over. Think about a child learning how to play the piano. When this child learns to play the piano, he's not going to be at starting off where he wants to be. So this child has to practice over and over. This child will go from a state of not being able to play the piano to a state of even becoming a concert pianist. But it came down to practice. From unpleasant noise to beautiful sounds that the piano makes, he was able to achieve his desire with practice. So here's a couple of techniques that Neville teaches that will actually help your imagining techniques and that will help you to build stronger assumptions. So the first technique we're going to do is put your cell phone in a room, maybe where you go to bed or you lay down. Put it in a separate room. Put this cell phone in a place to where you can't see it if you were to be in another room. And the reason I picked a cell phone is because it's something that we have in our hands often and we can actually memorize what it looks like. It's a quick visual. We're on our phones 24/7. So now that you've placed this phone in your bedroom, maybe on your dresser or on your bed, maybe plugged up on the charger, whatever. Now go into a different room like your living room. So now you're in a completely separate room and you can't see your phone where the other room is at. So now that you are in the living room, imagine yourself being in the other room where your phone is at. Maybe you can see it on your bed, on the charger, on the dresser. Close your eyes and imagine yourself being there in first person in the other room. So let's say you're in the living room. Now I would imagine myself being in my room where the phone is at. Imagine yourself being there. Now, once you imagine yourself being in the room in first person and you feel all the tones of reality, now imagine yourself being back in the living room when you first started. And then go back into the living room. And then go back and forth and practice and do this over and over. When you do this technique over and over, you will actually feel the feeling of changing motion. So this exercise could be an exercise that could help you perhaps kind of get loose or get warmed up to creating your specific desire or your specific scene. So here's the second technique that Neville teaches throughout his lectures, and this is actually one of my favorite ones. This is one of the first ones I actually came across when I first started using different techniques, because there's so many techniques out there, you don't know which ones to use. So for me, I pick a couple ones that help me manifest and that are actually helping me manifest now. I try to stick to just one or two basic ones. I try not to go use too many techniques because you can go all over the place, and yet they may all work, but I want to pick one that's more specifically tailored for me. So to start off, go in a room that you spend most of your time with. In a room that you actually recognize objects, whether it's your living room, since you're often there, maybe watching TV, you know what the couch looks like, maybe a picture on the wall, a lamp, your TV, maybe your TV stand, maybe you have some type of game system, DVD players, your door, windows, Pick a place where you spend the most often and you can actually vividly memorize certain objects. So now that you picked your room that you're very familiar with, you could grab a chair. So grab a chair and put it right in front of a wall. Sit in the chair, so now that you're actually literally facing the wall is right there in front of you. So now close your eyes as you're facing the wall and imagine the wall behind you. So now in your mind's eye, the wall that is actually behind you, it is actually now in front of you. So now the room has actually reversed itself, or better yet, you have reversed yourself. Throughout scripture, there's a tone of reversibility. And as you read it, you will discover that it means this. It means to see what is behind you as though it is in front of you. Whenever you are in one room and you imagine yourself to be in another room and you imagine it so vividly, when you open your eyes to find out that you're not in the room where you originally started, where you were physically at, you will actually feel a shock. And the reason why you will feel this shock is because it felt so real to you. If you're seated on the chair or the couch in your living room, and you imagine yourself being in the other room with your cell phone is plugged up on your dresser or on your bed, wherever you put it at in the beginning. Whenever you want that shock, open your eyes when you're in that room. If you open your eyes when you're back to where you originally started, there won't be no shock. And the reason you kind of get shocked whenever you open your eyes in a place where you didn't start it was because it felt so real. You felt like you were there in first person in the other room. So when you open your eyes, you realize that you were only there in imagination. But as Neville teaches us, imagination creates reality. It's kind of like a dream. When you have a dream, it feels so real. And this is how you want to practice the art of imagination. Make it feel real. Give it the tones of reality. Give it all the vividness that you can. So these are ways to exercise your talents and improve your imagining techniques. This very last exercise is a way to master your control over assumption, which is by revising the day. So you want to revise the day with events that you desire to happen. So you want to do this in reverse order. So from the last thing you did to the very first thing you did. So the last thing you did was get in bed. So you want to start from the point of when you actually got in the bed. So now that you got in the bed, what was the last thing you did before bed? And do this until you reach the first event, which was getting out of bed. So in reverse order, revise the events and assume the desired feeling of how you wanted the outcome of those events to be. Again, these exercises are not easy, but just like the little boy who couldn't play the piano, with practice, he became a concert pianist. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to practice. If you want to learn how to live in the end or have a certain assumption, it just comes down to practice. Practicing your inner conversations, practicing your revision, and then just getting in the state of imagining, getting warmed up, using some of these exercises to help you to get kind of loose in creating your desire, maybe taking off some of that resistance and some of the pressure that we actually put on ourselves when we try to manifest a specific desire. These techniques help exercise the muscle of your attention. Controlling the muscle of your attention is something that has to be developed. Going to the gym to build muscle is something that has to be developed. You can control when you're going there in order to develop that specific physique or your specific desire. If you want to lose weight, whatever your specific desire is, you can control when you're going there. And it takes practice, building yourself up to go maybe maybe finding some type of motivation. But with creating a habit over and over, you will go to the gym. You have developed this habit of going, and it becomes easier over time. Controlling your assumption helps you to change your concept of yourself and therefore change your future. Imagination can take you anywhere, but it all depends on the intense direction that you give attention to. Imagination can take you anywhere, but it solely depends on the intense direction that you give attention to. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Make sure to turn those post notifications on because I will upload videos every Thursday and Sunday. Thursday and Sunday. Thank you guys. Go out there and use your gifts and make life happen. Peace.